The Lord said to me that by the end of this decade, a lot of the spiritual fathers will be with him in heaven. It's like a generation of fathers. He told me, he said, your job is to be a bridge between that generation and the coming generation, to make sure that what is delivered to them is the same apostolic Christianity of the first century of the early church. We are going to have a generation now where truth will be scarce. What is the defense without truth in the midst of deception? One of the things he said we are to do, part of the strategy, is to begin to hold meetings where we create a bridge. These generations that walk with God, that knew God, that saw the past revival, to transfer their wisdom, their life, the quality of their Christian values to this coming generation. That I'm doing it for my kids, but that's what has to happen to your children, to our teenagers, to the children, and to these people in the campuses, to these young professionals that fill our institutions. When you listen to them, you see the depth, the quality of Christianity that they have, that they preach. You listen, you see the chaff that is being offered to this modern generation. That's why I say I'm not a 21st century pastor, neither am I a 21st century Christian. I'm a first century Christian living in 21st century. My values is as thick as what they have in the Bible and the early church. I don't believe that there should be any other quality of church. The same quality that Jesus created that should remain till he returns. God has not changed. His word has not changed. His standards have not changed. Nobody has right to water it down. Nobody has right to adulterate it. The gospel is not fake drugs. It's the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes. Our Savior wrote this, and he wrote it and said this is about the last days. As we're preparing for the coming of the Lord, what he said is, we should be careful not to forsake the assembly, church services, gathering of believers. Some Christians have developed a habit of forsaking it, and there is a warning for them. And there are even people on social media encouraging believers. You can be on your own, you don't need to be alone. That's suicide. Why don't you teach your children that? Tell your children they don't need family. Tell your young boy that wants to be a doctor, he can buy his textbooks and read and be a doctor. In a million years he will never be a doctor. Why do we need to go to school and listen to teachers even though we can read? Why do children need parents? If it is good for your family, it's good for the family of God. Church is family, it's just God's family.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.